you'll see. Long story short, I have 2 games here. We can look at one or look at both, but in both of them, I got into severe time trouble, even though it was 45 minutes long. So I don't know if that's something we could talk about at some point. But yeah, my opponent started with a Caracan here.
Caracan. Okay, so one of the possibility to go to the time travel could be if you're not well prepared in the opening part. Second one could be if your tactic vision is not okay. Also, not on the super high level. There are about people with a 1,400 blitz rating, and they have extremely good like 2,800, 2,900 tactic rating in chess.com. I'm not sure about your stats. You can share with me more.
It's pretty similar to what you just described because I have like 1,400 blitz, but my puzzle rating is like 2,700.
Okay.
So
Great.
yeah.
You can rise it up, but also you can try to take a look at different websites also and different kind of books. You have many exercises, different kind of what you can improve your vision. So this puzzle rush also could help some more tactics before the tournament to not go to time trouble. A little before the game, I mean. Otherwise, don't heat your brain so much. Try to be well prepared before the tournament.
Right.
This will be much better. And the other point is also endgame. If you ever reach endgame, how are your skills there? So let me see.
Yep.
C3. This is the first new move to me, maybe. I have seen that. I think it's not so precise move order, could say, because eventually, if you want to go to the plan with a queenside castle, you have to play c4 later. So, do you know the theory until this move? You try to make experiment, or?
So I'm more prepared if people like play knight f6 instead. When they play bishop f5, which I know is very common. This is as far as I go.
This is a classical variation, so you should be well prepared. Yeah, the other one is Tarkova, and it's also very modern. Either Carlsen use it. But bishop f5 is classical and the oldest ever variation, so you have to be well known. And c3 is not the move here. If you check out the opening theory, you can see h4, h6. You want to go to trap the bishop. Because he step here, he avoid knight e5 so far. There are about some troubles if he didn't play there. In case of knight f6, which is the most natural move, either e6 doesn't matter. h6, and now you can do this move. There are about some tactics connected with the f7 point after you go here. You can try to win the game fast and furious by some other tactics like that. But in general, if opponent is well prepared, he ever covered that square. You're not being wondering why knight d7. h4 is the basic point. h5 is a very bad response. h6, and now you have a choice between continued pushing. Sometimes I don't push. I don't like to push, but h5 is the main move in the theory. You don't need to select the move number 1 by engine, either opening book. You just need to follow however you feel good in the middle game part. I don't feel good in the middle game part with this pawn, to be fair. Also, sometimes I use my h4 pawn for eventual pushing of g4, g5, so this is helping me to cover the g5 square. So I generate enough strong threat here to provoke this h6 weakness. So I believe it's more than enough to push once h4. And next, it's a quite forcing line. Where is your choice? Knight f6. You can go for bishop d2. If you go to f4 anyway, queen a5 is coming, so e6. And after queenside castle, now it's a black's choice. Queen c7 and queenside castle. 2 ideas followed by bishop d6. Or bishop e7 and kingside castle. Sorry. So you have to be ready for both ideas. But until now, this is something like main theory. Of course, you have some other sidelines. I can give you also other fresh ideas. I think there is a variation with the... Can we go to Explorer somehow? Yeah. There is a variation with the knight e2 and knight f4, I have a c to challenge the bishop immediately. Any transposing for any troubles, something what is not so regular, you know. There is a variation what I know with the f4 again. Similar pressure, maybe people are not super familiar with all these lines. And again, you occupy the e5 outpost. So you have alternatives instead of that at the beginning. Right now, here, either bishop c4 makes some sense about f7 square, what we talk already about. Or also knight h3 again with the idea knight f4. It's also quite interesting. They probably need a space for the bishop, but I think h6 is not so great now. h6 because of knight f4, bishop c4, and again we can think about some other sacrifices here because of queen here. Yeah, tactic vision again. So, but this is, yeah, here you have no choice, but here you have already choice. Move number 6.
Right. Okay. I mean, to be honest, so.
But c3, no, please. Don't
Yeah.
do
Okay.
c3. Let's show you why don't do c3 before continue with your game. I just gave you little recommendation what is correct to play. I told you.
Are you still in the Explorer? Because I think when you make moves in the Explorer, I'm not seeing.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So we go here. Yeah. No c3. So we go to f6. No. What was the sideline? This one maybe. Nope. Set bishop d3. Okay, so after take, in the variation when they go for instance, queen side castle against queen side castle, here the main move is c4. That's why don't do c3, because it's gonna be a wasting of time. You try to increase this pressure because very often black is trying to challenge you through c5, challenge the central pawn, and c3 is not helping you in any scenario. It's just blockade your dark square bishop and that's it. Very often you need that space for the bishop on c3.
Right.
Here. So c3 is a very tough move, but you still didn't have h4 on the board in your game, yeah? So maybe you can still go to the kingside castle.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, there is a logic, there is a scenario, there are about different levels, different steps, what you can follow in the opening part. I repeat that it's not important to play the first line of the Explorer, either engine, but it's good to follow some tempos. Why? Because you're white. You play for a win. Doesn't matter chess.com dude with 2000 or you play against Grandmaster.
Right.
You try to take some more advantage out of opening part if it's possible, especially when you're white. Okay. So you go to that plan. Right, this is familiar with the other variation. Okay, so first we go here. A bit strange move order, yes. 84. Take. It's you know what's the worst thing for hey Hanschenk, how are you doing? You know what's the worst thing for white here is to exchange the queens. It's gonna be a very, very simple endgame then, and you lose your chances to win the game.
Right.
So every endgame is quite good for black. This is your horror. I think queen e4 also makes sense, but with the kingside castle, exactly, I don't see the advantage anymore of white. h6. Well, you control the center. Right now you have a stronger bishop than his one, and you have eventual outpost on e5, and you have also eventual pushing of c4, d5. In case if he's trying to be sneaky and stay in the center, you can go for breakthrough, sacrifice something. He did castle. Okay. h3. Space for the bishop is good. That's happening in London's system. The question is, do you need that move or it's a wasting of time? Comments here.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't very scared of G5 because I was looking at G5, but I thought rook E5 was enough to just try and open everything up
Mhm.
because the queen moves back, and then I thought I was gonna end up taking on G5 or something, but I thought like knight H5 would be a little bit annoying if I didn't play H3, but I guess I could have just put the or I guess I could have just brought the bishop back to like D2 instead of staying on the H2 to B8 diagonal. Because I was kind of thinking like, okay, like I don't want to go back here or here and then get kicked out with F6. But I guess maybe that's a ghost or a fake threat.
Um, I think G5 is not so serious threat. To be fair.
Yeah, I was more worried about knight H5.
Knight
But
H5, when you have the space here to come back again, I don't think it's a huge threat too. Or either sometimes you can go to E5, provoking by F6, definitely E6 will be weak later, and you can simply retreat to G3. So, let's say you play Rook D1. Well, Rook D1 is bad because you blunder here, but let's say you play something, he's coming to you, you come here, F6, and I don't think so. It will be so bad situation to give up your bishop for this knight, but you generate a huge weakness on E6. So this is more important right now.
okay, got it.
Targeting E6, then give up the bishop. Give up the bishop is a big minus if black is able to use this weakness, like having bishop pair against you or having a very strong attacking against you. Right now, it's completely fine.
Mm-hmm.
So you have either bishop e5, either if you're so addicted to the bishop, you can even retreat to c1. Bishops are not like knights. They don't need to be in the center to use their power. So bishop on c1 after you organize your rooks here. It's completely fine. Yeah, in this case, I think so this blunder is working well for black. But we talk in general.
Right, I get what you're saying.
You could play more centralized. Maybe b3, maybe c4. You can think about this b3, then rook d1 if you want to play slow, and then think about c4 followed by d5 or just c4. Bring the knight to the center. Anyway, h3. This is completely wasting of tempo for him. The rook doesn't have any job on e8.
Right.
I don't think so. a4. You change the plan dramatically. With a totally different plan right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to see what's happened next? Did you trap his queen? Oh, this is very good now for you. But I have a feeling that he have a blunder something here on the way. Maybe bishop d6 was a bad choice of him. Okay, a4. What's the plan of a4?
I was just trying to break the structure up a little bit because then use like basically have an open file for the rook on a1 without moving it. But yeah, I was just gonna keep pushing it.
Pushing could be connected with the weakness too. Maybe it's not so bad because yeah, if you're targeting this, but you're not worried about any single moment about c5, rook e5, queen c6. As I mentioned, this is just part of the opening part. So if you're familiar with the opening part ideas, you have to be careful about pushing of c5. So
okay,
c5. Maybe you have c4.
Yeah.
And then what?
Like queen d7 or
d7, knight d5. Ah, no, you lose d4 or depends.
Yeah.
What is the engine here? We don't have engine.
We can put it on.
Yeah, we can try. Yeah, c5. No, definitely he plays his pieces to the makes no sense squares for sure. Wondering if c5, c4. Yeah, this looks. You want to go for rook d1?
Well, I guess if they take, isn't this just simple or what's because then rook e to d1 as well to follow up with that.
This annoying move again, yeah.
Oh,
Don't like the queen plays there.
good point.
Um, double rooks, yeah. Bishop c5 on the way. Or rook d8, exchange with rooks, also.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it gets more
I
and more
like if you start one idea with a4, a5, just finish that idea probably to the end, or try to challenge me. Not simply simplifying so much. The main point is maybe after you take, just to get more space of c4 and not let the knight come to d5. Those.
Mhm.
And also, wherever you go, you have some forcing attack with knight. You said queen d7 before, yeah? Maybe now you can do d1.
Yeah.
More space. This is the difference. And then your plan with doubling the rooks could be good, maybe. I think this pawn structure in one moment b3 could be quite stable. You're gonna have just one backward pawn here and everything will be well protected, and you hold on the center at the same time.
Right.
You are now. Okay, he played rook d8, you push. Bishop d6 looks like blunder, yeah. Soon we saw why.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is very good. Force attacking. So this now depends on your tactic skills. So I'm not sure where you go to the side note. We can see some notes of you. No, here no notes. Okay, no notes.
Yeah. No. Well, this was as soon as bishop d6 happened, like one of the questions I'm trying to ask myself every single move, well, especially in classical chess, is like what changed? Because I feel like I can do puzzles, but I can't find the moment in games where I should be treating it like a puzzle. So I'm trying to ask myself what changed after every move, and in this moment, I asked myself what changed. Well, a lot of times I was looking at like the rook e5 or other moves, and I was like, well, the queen can always go back on the d file. And when you played bishop d6, I was like, oh, the queen can't go back on the d file, so it has to stay here. And that's when I started looking at other moves. Obviously rook e5 is not available just yet, but c4 instead to boot the queen out, and I saw like it was kind of like only moves for him.
Yeah, exactly. So when I said that to my students, like, you should ask yourself. They look at very strange. So after every move in the middle game part, especially, you have to ask yourself if you're able to. It's very simple word. It's calling recognizing. Everybody is able to solve puzzles with the topic, or right now this is a puzzle. You have to solve it, but nobody shared this with you during the game. All right, KD. It's your turn, boy. Find out how to trap the queen.
Right.
So that's why you have to push yourself. Exactly what you explain is a very well pattern. Queen is quite close. You just check out the free squares in front and push. c4. Very, very easy pushing. Objectively, queen f5 could keep their structure a bit more than in the game, because fg is very ugly already. Because this is gonna be pawn majority on the queen side part, but this will be, let's say, well protected in any moment. Comparing to the game, looks like now e6 is, in my eyes, eventual extra pawn. And also g6 is quite weak too. I mean, now we have double pawns and isolated pawn too. So much worse. I think everything is quite forcing. g5, did you spend time to check out g5 maybe?
Hold on. No. I don't think well, hold on. I don't think I looked at g5. I only looked at g5 when my bishop was still in f4. I just thought that, yeah.
You're not able to sacrifice. Well, g5 is a move, and then I can bring back the queen on g6 again. So maybe it's not super bad. Computer, yeah, it's easy for him in any position. Why here? Why it's so bad, or why it's so good? But you can probably continue your previous idea with an a pawn, push to the end, generate weakness. For sure, that's quite good.
Right.
And the question is, what's your next plan here?
Well, you'll see later in the game too, but I pushed c5, which I might have done before a6 as well, but like instead of a6, could we push c5? Because that was like my plan when the queens were off the board, was to play c5, which enabled me to play a6. Okay, I guess it doesn't like it as much, but because then if b6, like not accepting like the opening of the like for example like rook back and a6, if you try to not accept it, then I get a pass pawn, and I'm obviously but it, like, I don't know if they would just take, but then always have it, or black always has.
Yeah, c5 looks good, by the way. c5 after a6, maybe.
After a6 too?
Yeah, looks good. Breakthrough, because breakthrough c6 will be isolated pawn if you have a take.
True, right. You're right.
We have some suggestion in the chat also with the h4. Let me check out based on the pin. Yeah. h4, maybe knight g4. Let me check out. Yeah, looks interesting, h4. Maybe right now or after a6, I don't know. Oh. Knight g4, yeah, knight g4 I was alright, and knight d7. Problem is our rook. They're able to kick us out from this pin and then simply take. So, maybe not so great if we let this tempo to the black. The tempo now. So if we take this sacrifice, probably it's not that genius. We're gonna take a pawn, but queen is here and we don't have second rook for checkmate. Not enough resources to checkmate. Alright. So we go where? Bishop d6, so you go to this bad pawn structure. You push right now. Yeah, I think it's good to push him out. d5, a6, yeah. You just win a pawn so easy. Nice. So if he has to come here, otherwise the other move was very bad, and hold on with the king f7, something like this. Oh.
That was my whole point. I thought he was gonna play rook g7, but I'm not sure what he.
Maybe, I don't know, would you take, or if you take, I hold on like that, so maybe you can try to bring the knight to e5. d5. You have a blunder. Okay, now was easy maybe for you.
Should have been.
Really? Okay. Gross. Yeah. You write down gross later. Okay, let me see. You take a second pawn. Come on. Now you just start bullying, no? Change and just push. You don't want to push, or it's not good. b4. What's up?
Yeah. The b4 crossed my mind, and then something in me was like,
oh no,
I
d5.
thought like when you have a good position, why don't we just bring the king over? And then I did that in the worst way possible, and it wasted a lot of time. The knight got active, and I realized that I was in danger of being forked a bunch of different ways, so I dropped the b pawn and made black bluff.
Okay, b pawn is down. Keep going with the hanging. Why don't you push d5? No, d5 here. Wow.
Yeah. Well, okay, so for reference, I think around the point of when I played rook 6 to make sure I didn't get forced my rook and then nothing that the b pawn's losing. I think I was already like less than 5 minutes on the clock, if not even.
Yeah. So maybe here. Here, to not get panicked. Why? Or what should be? Yeah, but maybe this pawn really is kind of hanging because they're gonna come here. They're gonna push. I want to push to the end, if you ask me, but yeah, just like that.
Always gonna have the can't stop like everything. How do you stop b6?
Just like that.
Then
I mean, you should eliminate first the knight and then push. Now you remove rook d6. So, but yeah, you don't have pushing now. But also, this is not really under attack. You can simply make fun and play knight e5. In case if you take, you just take. You can have a try to push c pawn too. It's cannot be bad. Yeah, you're totally winning here. Also, it's quite fun to try c6, I believe. Again, cannot be bad. You want to push to the end and check and promote. I mean, not all the time. Maybe you should remember something that not all the time you should activate your king. You have enough resources to push without king. And you have 2 connected pass pawns. So what else you need, you know? So I believe it's more than enough. Even 3 connected, but 2 pass pawns of them. So just push to the end. So looks like not so bad. If he comes immediately to this, again, you can go for overloading because this simplification means you play on the one soccer go, one door playing. So I believe now you realize that king f1 is not so genius because of plenty of checks. So king gonna have a perfect fortress on h2. Very simple move. Play simple chess. Simple push. You have pawns, you have to push them. If you don't push them, they're gonna push you. So what's happening in the game? You donate b pawn. It's not over, okay. You already realized that you fall down. Why don't you continue activating the king then?
Well, then I was like, oh. I was like, oh, if I bring the king out into the center.
Okay, just do it.
Yeah, but then I went back to f1, I believe.
Yeah, that's my question. Why? you go there to activate the king. You see, you fell down. Okay, but just follow your idea. I believe. So one more case where you don't follow your idea.
Right. When you think your mind times up, just give time back to my.
Too many times, too much mess ups, too much ideas maybe, and you should organize your mind better if it's possible. So actually, if you lose now b2, you just move away the rook to the old nature square, and you can, if you want to activate the king so far, this is a very good way. Even if you lose all this, don't worry. You have 2 connected pass pawns. And your first idea actually is also one of the most correct one. King close to the pawns, and then you will be able to push them.
Yeah, like, whatever idea, there's plenty of good ideas. The best idea is to simplify and avoid any sort of counterplay. But even if I decide on an idea and drop a pawn, but if my assets are still there in the position, just go and invest in promoting.
Yeah, exactly.
Good advice.
I mean, I don't see what you should worry about to activate the king. He doesn't have pieces to attack you, so the only one thing what you shouldn't be blind will be play g3 and blunder the rook. Okay, this is the only one way how you can lose the game. Everything else is winning. Yeah, even if you go for a check, okay, cover that. He comes here, you go for another check. Okay, he activate the king. Oh my gosh, what shall we do? Shall we resign here? Again, you can do check, kick him out. You don't need him on the 6th rank. Move away the rook here again. And try to go to the next step. Just pushing. By the way, the knight on e5 limit the knight here. The rook limit the knight here. So do you know my next step? Simple. Attack the knight. Yeah, it's over. So your first idea was completely correct. Activate the king. It's the most important piece in every endgame. But even without king, pawns are pushable here in this endgame without king. But they're moving along. If another plan of view could be simply exchange the knights if you have this opportunity. Okay. Check. And now it's not so clear. Incredible. King e6. Close to the drawish. The KD pawn.
Right, because I did.
Now, you don't have knight e5, you don't have your king, you don't have d5, you don't have protection of c6, and after he's able to disconnect your connected pass pawns, chance to make a draw. Yeah. This was a good chance for him. He ever played king f6. Oh, actually he declined to take it. If he take it, is it so bad? Here. You're still extra pawn, yeah, it could be bad still, yeah. You have some winning chances still, yeah. So, he went e6 later. Triangulation. Triangulation of the king, but it's working in another type of endgame.
I think at this point both of us were under.
Okay. So, makes no sense to play classical, you mean? You play Blitz anyway.
Blitz over the board, which, like, all my chess ever has only online, so it's like, but like with low time, the board vision gets even worse, like several hundred.
I see. Okay, so now it's hard. Maybe how about bring the knight, or it's not saving up the pawn? 95, 94, take.
Like 95.
Yeah. 5, maybe 90. Because you play here, so he just take. And then you can simple push. You can push d5, d6, no? On d6, maybe no. Because 94 check. But you can... No, yeah, you can push simple d5 and then bring the knight somewhere. 92, 94, push. No, 92, 94, 92, 94. So let's push here and 92, 94 and push. Yeah, maybe it's not so simple. He also had a check, 94, counter check and push. Yeah, looks nice.
Yeah.
I mean, if this check doesn't really work, computer show us what? Rook b8. Check out some good ideas. 91, very ugly move. Probably just here. You bring the king to the center. Yeah, knight c4, king d3, and now at least you cannot take the pawn with the king. You can do it with the rook, but then we have this check. Wow.
Well, you know, we can't obviously have to go first, but go to. Like you're getting forced. That has to be king.
Six.
So it get forced.
And then rook b7 for key here.
Fork anyway. The big pawn is probably more valuable than.
Okay, yeah. But if you take g, you're able to attack h2. So yeah, here is already complicated when he activate the king to the center. Give him. Oh, he blundered. Oh, what? He blundered. He didn't take his knight.
So somewhere around here, the notation got really messy, and I don't think it's like super duper reliable. But yeah, at some point I blundered a fork. I don't know if I blundered this, but at some point there's some configuration where the rook and the were hanging like at the fork. This one I'm not so sure because like we were like the last playing in this round, and everyone was like watching our board.
I see.
And everyone told me that I missed a fork, but they didn't tell me I missed a skewer, so this makes me think my notation was because for some stupid reason I was under a minute and I was still writing down moves, which was like the worst idea possible.
Wait, you don't need to write down to the end?
I thought there was a rule that if you are under like a certain amount of time, you don't have to write down.
Depends of the time control. If you play 90 plus 30 seconds, 90 minutes plus 30 seconds increment, you should write down the game to the end. No matter what. Okay. Okay. So yeah, for less time control like yours or less increment, probably there is a rule like what you said, yes. So
I'm gonna have to search that because I have another tournament that's 45 minutes. So,
okay, that's great, but check out maybe the rules. And probably this could make you distracted. So you can select between you want to win the game or you want to write down the game to the end.
yeah,
So maybe it's more important to check out your opening mistakes, your middle game mistakes, and not so much about the end game or immediately after the game is finished. You can try by memory to recover the game if you have time in between rounds, order pieces and write down to the end as much as you remember, I mean. So, I mean, maybe the finish is not so important, but probably the final result is more important than write down to the end. Okay.
I think that was a lesson learned the hard way because it's unnecessary to.
So I can recommend, especially when you're not so much experienced to the playing of tournaments of 9 rounds. What are the classical tournaments? 9 days and so on. Especially 4 rounds per day. I believe you should stop when you have 5 minutes on the clock or whatever. Just focus on the game.
And just for completeness sake, like I don't know what ended up really happening, but
Let me see.
Move by move. But at some point, this pawn started pushing.
Okay.
And the rooks got traded off. And I basically sacrificed my knight for this pawn.
Oh my gosh.
But, yeah, I think the black king, like.
Maybe he's not on B file.
Yeah, so the black king was around here, and somehow I sacrificed my knight, and the king ended up on like A2. So that allowed me to like go and collect these pawns.
And you have you have another 2 connected pass pawns on the king side.
Yeah, I had 2 connected pass pawns versus the king and the knight. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I think by the time I took this pawn, and I was taking these 2 pawns, the black king up somehow on like F8 or F7. So I had the 2 pawns versus the F7 and I also botched that. Ended up sacrificing the knight for 1 pawn and then for whatever. Oh yeah, when I took, they just screwed over to H8. My pawn was like.
So you won, or you make a draw? Stalemate? Oh my gosh! But you get a knight or not? You don't have knight.
No.
You
No,
sacrifice your knight.
See. So it was messy. It was very messy.
I have no idea how you're able to sacrifice your knight for the pawn, but yeah, well, it's hard to play like that. Okay.
So when you're saying like openings versus tactics versus games, like I'm not saying my openings are that good, but they're better than my end games by far and away.
Okay, so you just get panicked probably. So you exchange rooks later, you said?
Yeah, somehow we exchanged rooks.
Yeah.
And then I sacrificed my knight.
Yeah, I know. Of course. We do it. Just like that. Yeah, so you had a position like that, yes, in the end?
Yes.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm happy at least the engine that it is drawn, but
Something like that, yeah?
yes. The
So,
I think my king got to like F6 or F7, and
uh-huh.
I was trying to force this through, but they just sacrificed me for the.
So, right, let's transfer the king. Ah, he can sacrifice now, okay. Let's not sacrifice. Okay, so you push here,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he sacrificed
yeah.
on g6.
Yeah, because then I was like.
Yeah.
But
Do you think so in the end you had some chances? Or
when it was 2-1, I thought so, but when since the king corner, I was like he really has to blunder to look through here,
mm-hmm.
or somehow like on checkmate. But then I was bouncing around.
E7 is hard, but maybe a fate, yeah. It's hard to go for Zugzwang. Hard to go for Zugzwang. Okay.
But with like harder to put black in literally anyway.
Yeah. You can also try to give some more checks. I mean, even in different scenario, like if you want to go here, I can either play that move. I believe it's gonna be still draw. Let's show you. So yeah, make fun. So g7, king h7. If you try to advance, I just have ocean of checks, so I'm not worried about here. Here I just give you a check.
Yeah.
So supposed to be a draw anyway. Knight is very dirty animal. So dirty trick though. If I gave you this check and again advance to forcing the promoting, you just go here and again sacrifice. So it's very flexible piece, yeah. Okay, so I don't think so. You should let him to take e pawn. So here, maybe we can point the most important moment in the game where you think so to be or not to be in the game with the king. So it's not about king. It's not about king. You just need to push the pawns and that's it. Maybe you just have a wrong target. And maybe you just spend so much time to think about something what could be supposed to be so simple. So you make it more complicated. You make fun to play, let's say you make fun to play 100 moves instead of play 20 more moves, and that's it, yeah. Don't make complications if you don't need them. Just play simple chess, exchange this for this if you can. What's the easiest way? Push to the end. Okay, very easy. I have this emoji, push. So push, yeah. But people forgot. They have pass pawn and they don't push it. I'm a bit surprised, yeah. Okay. Yesterday, when I played against so many ladies, I was surprised of their decisions. I totally didn't understand them. So, okay, Asian was agree with me. He ever showed +3. One of my opponents just declined to make a castle. And I was wondering what the hell she's trying to do. My king is on the king side part. Why she stays in the center and she didn't attack me? So what she's doing? At one moment, I thought, oh, she want to go to the queenside castle. No, she didn't go there. So she went to the kingside castle and then got checkmated soon. So when opponent is trying to make you confused, but here no no confusion situations because it's very simple. Okay, it's very simple. Make it simpler. That's the way how I play against the Grandmaster. I just miscalculate to take his rook in one. Matamoros or what was the name? I was trying to play simple chess. I was trying to go to the queen endgame. This was my target, and that's blindfold me to see that I have a rook in 1. Check and take his rook, yes. But I had just target. But my approach also was correct. If you have a target, just follow it to the end. Like, my target was to play simple chess, moving to the queen endgame with the extra pawn. And do you know what's happened? It's happening what you did with your king. King f1, king e2, king f1. I changed my mind several times, and that's why I let him to make a draw. Yeah. When your approach, when your target is working, it's still working. Nobody bother you to advance the king. You could mess up 1 or 2 moves, of course. It's maneuvering, it's endgame, it's middle game part, doesn't matter. You can maneuver 100 times. You're not engine to play so precise, but when you make a mistake, just don't continue with the mistakes. Next, mistake after mistake is close to lose the game. So here, your kingside part also doesn't really matter. If you donate all your pawns there, you're gonna be 5 times faster than your opponent. If you go here and he go here, even if you donate all your pawns, you know, just like that. Still +3. I want to show you something. Yeah, let's show you some stupid example. You still have +3. Why? Because you have much more advanced pawns. Okay. So this is not important.